Kerri, you are a coach, you are a mentor, you're a pastor's wife, you're a mom. You're surrounded with a lot of women in different seasons and stations of life. I know one of the questions, you're a dreamer, you dream big, but you also help people to achieve those big dreams that they have. So for those that feel like, hey, I have vision and dreams for everyone else, but when it comes to me or what God is calling me to do, I hear nothing, I see nothing. How do you encourage people to dream big and then accomplish those dreams?
That is such a great question. And I think a lot of people actually find it easier to dream for other people than for themselves. And if you could boil that down to one isolated principle, it's this. To other people, you're standing on the outside looking in, and you see a lot of times possibility and potential. But to yourself, you're inside yourself looking from the inside at yourself. And a lot of times we just tend to judge ourselves more harshly than we judge other people. We're our own worst critics, right? And so when we are so aware of our own limitations, outside looking in at somebody else, we're not thinking of their limitations, we're thinking of what they can do. But for ourselves, we're so hyper aware of our own limitations and our failures. And also I think that it can be that we're afraid of taking risks. Mm-hmm. So one of my biggest piece of advice to people is, are you taking time aside on a regular basis to mentally remove mental constraints from yourself, remove judgment from yourself, and just allow yourself to dream big? And that's the first piece of advice that I would offer people if they were struggling with getting vision. And the other thing I would say is, a lot of times I find that especially women, when they're going through that time of raising children, they lose the ability to dream because they're so entrenched in the day-to-day tasks. And I would also say, are you practicing the ability to articulate what you want for yourself? Because a lot of women don't allow themselves permission to say, this is the life I envision. This is the life I want. It's like the minute you say, I want this from life, we have this innate just belief that that's selfish. And so when I talk about removing judgment, I'm saying, understand that's not selfish. You're in charge of your own life. Nobody can make it happen except for you. And so you have to be responsible for articulating and dreaming that.
So I'm always going to fight for the how. So for that woman who is at a boardroom watching this, or in her cubicle, or in her living room with a baby bottle and diapers surrounding her, don't judge yourself. Make space and time to create that and hear and create vision, but then also giving yourself permission to dream. How do you speak into that dream? And as quickly as possible, if they're stuck, how do you get to that position of dreaming? I
would say whatever inspires you, you have to fill yourself up with inspiration to overflow with inspiration. Some people have the capacity to just look into the future. Christine is a lot like this. I am kind of this kind of person. I can look into the future and just imagine and see it. But other people need to start with an internal model. They need to see what's working and customize it and make it their own. And that's not any less a form of dreaming than someone who's just visionary. You don't have to be a science fiction writer to imagine the unimaginable. Start with what you know and customize it to fit you, and just get in the habit of thinking futuristically. And that's what I would start with.
Don't judge yourself. Give yourself permission to create your life. And if you are not visionary, to internalize that and create it yourself. You've given such practical, simple handles on what does it look like to dream big. So thank you, Kerri, for your time.
Thanks, my pleasure.